Well, there's been some good news for cyclists in the city recently, like when City Council voted to make the Bloor Street bike lanes permanent last year. But here we are in the middle of winter. The subways are packed, roads are jammed with cars, streetcars are breaking down in the cold. But if cycling is really going to be a viable alternative for people all year round, is the city doing enough to make sure it's safe?
What they're doing right is they're finally recognizing that bike lanes have to be maintained, that they have to be maintained during the winter, and they are putting an effort into it. But is it an effort that is meeting the standard? I would say no.
In the wintertime, the city maintains a network of priority cycling routes where they say they use specialized equipment and a healthy dose of salt to keep bike lanes and paths clear. One cycling advocate says the city gets off to a good start after a snowfall, but things can go south from there.
The challenge that we see, though, is in the finishing. And so what often happens is after that great work's been done, a plow will come through an adjacent intersection and snow the lanes back in. And so it makes it more challenging to ride. So there's some of those small touches, I think, that are really important.
So we're going to set up a meeting with our road op staff and Cycle Toronto and talk about those kind of issues and figure out what we can do to attack that better.
Professor Jun Nogami rides year-round, including a regular commute from the High Park area to U of T. He says winter cycling is not without its challenges.
There are a lot of on-street bike lanes which are not very well plowed, or a lot of snow gets knocked into them by parked cars and such, and those are all problematic. In fact, after a snowfall, those painted bike lanes completely disappear.
He has his criticisms, but he also believes the city is doing good work.
I use the Bloor bike lanes for the last part of my commute in between Shaw and St. George, and the city's been doing a really, really good job of keeping it both plowed and salted. I've been quite impressed.
So, if you are thinking of joining the ranks of Toronto's winter cyclists, there are a few things to keep in mind. You probably don't need as much bulky winter clothing as you think. You should definitely make sure that you're well lit, and you should absolutely, positively, as always, keep your eye out for any folks who might have their noses buried in their phone behind the wheel. On Sherbourne Street for City News, I'm Stephen Davis.